Somebody pulls up, sees the words "Premium Recommended" printed somewhere in their manual months ago, and now religiously fills up with premium every time on every car they've ever owned, just to be safe. And 2 pumps down, somebody else is filling up a car that genuinely needs premium gas with the cheapest regular they can find, because nobody ever told them the difference actually matters for their specific engine. Both of these people think they're being smart. One of them is probably wasting real money, and the other one might be quietly wearing down their engine, and neither one of them actually knows which category they're in. By the end of this video, you will. And I'm also going to show you something almost nobody talks about: the difference between the word premium printed on that pump and something called top tier, because those two things sound like they should mean the same thing, and they genuinely don't. And that gap is where most of the confusion at the pump actually comes from. If you've ever stood at a gas pump second-guessing which button to press, stick around, because in the next few minutes you're going to know exactly which one is yours. For good, no more guessing. And if that sounds like something worth having clarity on, go ahead and hit that like button right now, because a lot of people are standing at that same pump confused today, and this is exactly the kind of thing that should reach them before their next fill-up, not after. Let's start with a group that's quietly losing money every single month, because this is the one nobody adds up. As of right now, the national average for a gallon of regular gasoline sits right around $3.94. Premium, depending on where you are, typically runs somewhere between 70 cents and $1 more per gallon. Let's do simple math with a fairly average number. Call it a 70-cent difference. If you're driving something with a 15-gallon tank and you fill up once a week, that's an extra $10.50 every single time you're at the pump. For fuel, your engine may not need even a little bit. Multiply that by 52 weeks in a year, and you're looking at over $500 a year gone for zero measurable benefit in how your car runs, how it accelerates, or how far it goes on a tank. That's not a rounding error. That's a car payment. That's a few oil changes. That's real money leaving your pocket every month based on a guess instead of a fact. And the frustrating part is that the actual fact is sitting right there in your glove box the entire time. In a book, most people have literally never opened past the first page. Which brings us to sign number 2, the line in your owner's manual that decides this whole debate, and almost nobody actually reads it. Every single manufacturer prints, somewhere in the fuel section of your manual, one of 2 very specific words. Either premium fuel is required, or it's recommended. Those 2 words are doing a lot of work, and they are not interchangeable, even though they get treated like they are in casual conversation all the time. Required means your engine's computer and its internal design genuinely depend on that higher octane rating to run correctly and to protect itself long term. Recommended is a completely different situation. It means the manufacturer is saying premium can offer a small benefit, sometimes in power, sometimes in efficiency. But the engine is fully designed and fully warranted to run safely and normally on regular fuel too. If your manual says recommended, you are, in plain terms, allowed to run regular gas without hurting your engine, and any performance difference you'd notice is honestly tiny for the overwhelming majority of daily driving. That one line, on one page, in a book that's probably still shrink-wrapped in your glove box, is the actual answer to a question people argue about online for hours. Now let's get into sign number 3, and this is where I want to clear something up properly, because this one gets repeated so often that it's basically accepted as fact, and it's only half true. You've probably heard some version of premium gas cleans your engine better. Here's the honest breakdown of that claim. What's actually responsible for keeping your engine's fuel injectors and intake valves clean isn't the octane rating at all. It's something called the top tier standard. And top tier has nothing to do with whether the gas is labeled regular, mid-grade, or premium. Top tier is a separate, voluntary certification that some fuel brands choose to meet, guaranteeing a higher minimum level of detergent additives in the fuel, regardless of octane. That means you can buy a regular 87 octane gasoline that is top tier certified and genuinely does a great job keeping your engine internals clean. And on the flip side, you can technically buy a higher octane premium fuel that isn't top tier certified and isn't doing your engine's cleanliness any special favors at all. These are 2 completely independent things, octane rating and detergent standard, bundled together in people's minds into one idea, and separating them is honestly one of the most useful things you can walk away from this video knowing. If cleanliness is what you actually care about, look for the words top tier on the pump, or check the top tier website for approved brands in your area, not the word premium. Now, I want to be really clear about something, Because I don't want this video to turn into premium gas is a scam and nobody needs it. Because that's not true either. And honesty is the entire point of this channel. There is a real specific group of engines that genuinely need premium fuel. Not as a suggestion, but as a mechanical requirement. And understanding why matters just as much as understanding when you can skip it. Turbocharged engines and high compression engines are built to squeeze air and fuel together far more tightly than a standard engine does, which lets them produce more power from a smaller engine. But that extra compression also generates more heat and more pressure inside the cylinder. And lower octane fuel can't handle that pressure cleanly. It can start to ignite on its own, slightly early, before the spark plug even fires. And that uncontrolled premature ignition is called knock. Premium fuel exists specifically to resist that. Higher octane fuel is more stable under pressure and heat, so it burns the way it's supposed to, exactly when the engine tells it to, instead of igniting early. If your car has a turbocharger, or if it's a high-performance engine with a genuinely high compression ratio, that required label in your manual isn't a suggestion dressed up as a rule. It's describing something your engine's internal design actually depends on. And honestly, this is exactly the kind of thing this channel exists for. Not the obvious stuff everybody already knows, but the small distinctions that actually change how you spend money and how you take care of your car. If you want more of this, the kind of thing that saves you from guessing, go ahead and subscribe right now, because there's a lot more of this coming. So let's talk about what actually happens if you get this backwards. Specifically, if you put regular gas into a car that requires premium. I want to walk you through this accurately because a lot of content out there dramatizes this way more than reality supports, and exaggerating it doesn't help you. It just scares you. Here's what genuinely happens when lower octane fuel starts to knock inside an engine that needs premium. Your car's computer, the ECU, actually detects that knock happening in real time using a dedicated knock sensor, and it responds immediately by pulling back the ignition timing, essentially telling the engine to fire the spark plug a little later, specifically to stop that premature ignition from happening. So in most modern cars, putting regular gas in a premium required engine one time, or even for a few tanks, is not going to instantly blow up your engine in some dramatic, catastrophic way. Your car is smart enough to protect itself in the moment. But here's the honest part that matters. That protection isn't free. When the ECU pulls back timing to prevent knock, you lose some power. You can lose some fuel efficiency. And depending on the engine, you can get a persistent, subtle level of internal wear over time from an engine that's constantly working slightly outside the conditions it was actually designed around. It's not a single dramatic failure. It's a slow tax on the engine, paid in small increments, tank after tank, that adds up over years, not days. So no, one tank of regular in a premium car isn't going to leave you stranded tomorrow. But making it a habit in an engine that was engineered around resisting knock with higher octane fuel isn't a good long-term bet either. So here's how you settle this permanently for your specific car in about 30 seconds, and you never have to guess again. Open your owner's manual to the fuel section. Sometimes it's listed under fuel requirements, sometimes under fuel recommendations, and look for exactly one of those two words we talked about, required or recommended. A lot of cars also print this directly on the fuel door itself, right where you flip it open to put the nozzle in. So if your manual's buried somewhere in a drawer, check there first. Whatever word you find is your answer, permanently, until you get a different car. No more standing at the pump second-guessing yourself. No more picking premium out of anxiety or regular out of habit without actually knowing which one your engine was built around. I'll be straight with you the same way I try to be on everything here. This video isn't about telling you to always buy the cheapest option, and it's not about telling you premium is a waste of money for everyone either. It's about replacing a guess with an actual fact, one that's specific to your car, sitting in a book you probably already own. Some engines genuinely need that higher octane fuel to run the way they were designed to. A lot of engines don't, and for those, that extra money at the pump every week isn't protecting anything. It's just leaving your wallet for no real reason. Knowing which one is true for your car is worth 30 seconds with your manual, and it's worth a lot more than $500 a year if it turns out you didn't need to spend it. And if you liked figuring this one out, go check out the video right before this one, where we walked through the 5-minute check that can stop your engine from overheating before it ever becomes a roadside emergency, because that one pairs perfectly with everything we just covered here today.